Hello everyone, this is Gene from NYC and I am back with another video. This video will not be about Ghost in the Shell, though eventually I will get around to watching this DVD and doing a review of it just as soon as life calms down. But anyway, this video is going to be about my thoughts, my ever so rambly thoughts about the Batwoman trailer that seems to have everybody a Twitter and a Facebook and a YouTube and enraged, and for good reason. So before I start, I want to welcome everyone back to the channel, whether you've been here from day one or you just are newly subscribed. Welcome and welcome back. I would like to specifically welcome, I believe the name is Amy McLean, Super Ink Arts. I think that's the name of the channel. So welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy the content. So on to the content. I would usually do a summary of the trailer itself, but in the interest of time and of trying to focus for once in life, I'm going to try to just focus on the particular parts of the trailer that stood out to me, and I will admit they stood out to me oftentimes because I took issue with it. So the first part, and if you want to see the trailer, you can just put Batwoman trailer in YouTube. It's not hard to find. Also channels such as that Star Wars girl, she has a reaction where she plays the full trailer, right? So you can always look there too. But I want to focus on specific parts and give my thoughts on it. So let me start with the earliest important part, which is when in the trailer there's a scene of a woman, of an Asian lady, giving a press conference and stating that Batman has left Gotham, that he's no longer there to protect them. I want to make this clear. She's not saying that Batman has gone missing. She's not saying that Batman has disappeared. She is saying that Batman has abandoned Gotham City. If you are familiar with the comics or with any of the cartoon media, movie media over the years regarding Batman, you no doubt know that Batman would only leave Gotham if he's off training, right, to better protect Gotham, if he's kidnapped, or if he's dead. It's about the only three ways that Batman leaves Gotham City for any length of time. So I am quite upset that, again, according to this trailer, I'm not judging the show, I'm judging the trailer. According to this trailer, the way to get rid of Bruce and get him out the picture is to say that he abandoned the city that he loves so much. That is not Bruce Wayne. That is not Bruce Wayne. That is anti-Bruce Wayne. That is like Bizarro World Bruce Wayne. A Bruce Wayne who is not giving his life to protect Gotham is not Bruce Wayne. So I frankly, how do I put it, especially as somebody who was a big fan of Batman back when I was like between like 5 and 8, like all I loved was like Batman, or at least one of the main loves I had in cartoons was Batman. And like 1989 Batman film is still like it is for me like my favorite comic book movie film, even after all this time. So to say that Batman, one of the first heroes that I ever was exposed to and really connected with, is basically a deadbeat and has abandoned his city, to me is just incredibly insulting. Keep in mind, in this trailer, there's no mention of the rest of the Bat family and where they are. And being at least somewhat familiar with the comics, I can't imagine a situation where Dick Grayson would not step up and protect Gotham City, either as Nightwing or as Batman. I do know that there was a storyline where I think Bruce died when he had gone to hell or something like that. I think it was Batman R.I.P. And Dick Grayson put on the Batsuit. He was Batman for a short amount of time, because eventually Bruce came back. Bruce always comes back, but he put on the Batsuit. So you're telling me that, again, Dick Grayson, Bruce's oldest son, basically, right, is not going to protect Gotham City. You're telling me that Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, is not going to protect Gotham City. You're telling me that Cassandra Cain Wayne, Bruce's legally adopted daughter, is not going to protect Gotham City. You're telling me that Damian Wayne, Bruce's biological son, is not going to protect Gotham City. You're telling me that Helena Bertinelli, the Huntress, who has many a bone to pick with Gotham's mobs and with Gotham's crime rings and with their mafia families, is not going to step up and protect Gotham. You're telling me these 6 heroes, who are all part of the Bat family, who all have deep connections both to each other and to Gotham City. Hell, you're telling me Black Canary wouldn't step in, right? You really want me to believe that all these heroes are not going to protect Gotham City? That none of them are going to be here? That the only one left is Batwoman? Look, I understand wanting to make a show focused on one character. I get that. But you shouldn't have to, in my opinion, really demonize Batman and then have, again, the other members of the Bat family just miraculously and mysteriously not be around, just so that you can make it so that Batwoman is the only Bat left defending Gotham City. So there's that. So I take great issue with that. I also take issue with what's his name? Luke Fox, I believe it's supposed to be, right? I think he's either the son or grandson of Lucius Fox, right? He's playing, the at least according to the trailer, he's basically a more attractive version of Steve Urkel, but he's just as wimpy and he's just as unmasculine, right? He's the black nerd who can't keep the powerful woman in check. As I said in my video about Barrett, black men for the most part don't see themselves in this way, right? Even black nerds don't want to see themselves as a nerd. Black men like to see themselves and idealize themselves as these powerful, masculine alpha characters. Again, look at the roles that black actors take in media. Look, if you're going to look at anime, look at the type of anime that is popular with black men, especially young black men. Black men like alpha. They like masculinity. They are very alpha guys. I know plenty of them. I don't think they're going to be happy with this portrayal of Luke Fox. And I'm not saying that Luke is nerdy because he wears glasses. That isn't it. Like, if you took the actor who plays Jimmy Olsen on Supergirl, if you took him, put him on this show and put him in a pair of glasses, that would be fine. Because that actor still has a very, powerful, handsome masculinity about him. He doesn't come across as a pushover. This version of Luke Fox literally looks like Urkel. He looks like Urkel. I mean, the Argyle sweater, the glasses, again, not being able to control Kate Kane, who is, of course, Batwoman, who's being played by Ruby Rose. So there's that. So yeah, I'm not happy with this wimpy version of this character. Then there's the scene where they're looking at, I'm guessing, one of Bruce's older bat suits, and Lucius says something to the effect of, I forget what Kate, aka Ruby Rose, says, but Lucius, speaking of the suit, says that it's literal perfection. Then Kate, again, Ruby Rose responds, "It'll be perfect once it's fit for a woman." I'm trying to find the words. When I saw the trailer, I literally had to put the phone down and walk away to collect my thoughts. I literally had to walk off the comment to collect my thoughts because I wanted to scream. How dare she say that it'll be perfect when it's fit for a woman. Bruce, okay, the bat suit is more than just a costume. It is a piece of cutting-edge technology. Technology that Bruce has personally tested with his blood, sweat, and tears and injuries. It is technology that he has refined or discovered and tweaked until it is perfect, at least for him and for his needs. He has literally spent God knows how much time, how much energy, how many hours, how much money working on that costume. And for her to basically say that his work will only be perfect or it will only be fit once it fits a woman is, again, to this woman who was a big fan of Batman growing up, is again incredibly insulting to me as a fan and to the character of Bruce Wayne. So that's another part. Then there's a part where Kate Kane is talking to some guy. He seems to have a connection to her, so I don't know. It's a white man in a suit. It seems like in the trailer that maybe he's part of the police force or something, part of the law enforcement. I don't know if he's Gordon or stand-in for Gordon. I don't quite know who he is. But he seems to have a personal, perhaps familial, maybe he's her dad or a father figure. I don't know. But he makes a comment about her, stating that she'll be the female Bruce Wayne. When you have to put in your trailer, which is an advertisement for the show, when you have to put in a clip where your lead female character is being described literally as the female version of a more well-known and respected male character, all you have told me is that this character has no personality of her own. That you could not come up with anything. That you either A, know nothing about her character from the comics, and you cannot make up a personality and a character for her. You're telling me right there that you don't know what in the world you are doing, and the best thing you could come up with was to make her like Bruce Wayne. First of all, if you're referring to her as the female Bruce Wayne, does that mean one day she's going to abandon Gotham too? Because that's what you had Bruce Wayne do in this series, according to the trailer. He's abandoned Gotham. Batman has abandoned Gotham. Batman is Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is Batman. So you're saying that one day she will abandon Gotham. Do you realize what you're implying? Both about yourselves as creators and about the character you are creating and applying this comparison to. Batwoman, Kate Kane, whatever you want to call her, should not need to be the female version of a male character, right? And here's the thing: it's not about her being a legacy character. There's plenty of legacy characters in comics, especially in DC. But it does not mean she literally has to be the female version of Bruce Wayne. Think about it. What other woman in the Bat family is referred to as the female version of a male character? Nobody refers to Barbara Gordon as the female version of Commissioner Gordon or of Batman. Nobody refers to Huntress as the female version of Batman or the female version of Red Hood. And believe me, given her tactics, she has a lot more in common with Red Hood than she does with anybody. But nobody compares her to Red Hood. All of the characters, male or female, that are part of the Bat family have personalities of their own. They don't need to be compared to another person. And that's even the ones who are legacy characters, right? Look at the Robins, right? All of the Robins, Tim Drake, Red Hood, Damian Wayne, they're all legacy characters following in the footsteps and in the shadow, I would say, of Dick Grayson. But none of them are referred to as Dick Grayson or as copies of Dick Grayson, although they always look strikingly similar to him. But they're all different. But you know, Jason is the rebellious bad boy. Tim is a lot more analytical. Damien, I would say in some ways, is a lot more conflicted and a lot more tragic, and he's a lot more serious. They're not XPs of Dick Grayson, nor are they XPs of Batman. They're their own characters. So when you say that again, she's the female Bruce Wayne, what you're telling me is you don't know anything about her and you can't make up a personality for her. That is bad storytelling and bad characterization. 101. And then, at the last part of the trailer, again, she's talking to Luke Fox. And again, he says something, and she responds with, she's not going to allow a man to take credit for what a woman did or for a woman's work. Okay, first of all, this woman's work is a beautiful Kate Bush song. Don't insult that song. Number 2, how dare you again insult Bruce? You are quite literally using his technology. You are quite literally using his Batcave, his technology, all the physical stuff that he left behind and apparently abandoning Gotham City. You are using his hand-me-downs to fight crime. And you're going to talk about how you're not going to allow a man to take credit for a woman's work? No. It's the exact opposite. You are using a man's work to do the job of crime fighting, and how dare you try to take credit for something that is not your own. This trailer for me was just trash from start to finish, because again it is anti-male, which I don't understand given the very masculine leaning androgynous appearance that Ruby Rose has in the role of Kate Kane, which I guess also is a reflection of Ruby Rose's actual personal fashion sense, but they're allowing it here in the show, so I'm going to bring it up. If you're going to be so anti-man, then why are you going to allow her to have such an androgynous, masculine leaning appearance with the short hair and the leather jacket? Okay, she's a biker chick, and she's not a feminine biker chick like, say, Black Canary or Black Canary's real-life equivalent, Lita Ford. She's a biker chick in the way of, I would say, Joan Jett, if I had to use a musical comparison when it comes to how they look, buttoned up, the body's not very, shapely, right? Joan was and is a rocker chick, but she's always had a much more masculine dress sense. And Ruby Rose, although she's much more androgynous, follows in that same pattern. And again, I have no issue with it personally, but if you're going to have your lead character be so anti-male, why is she dressing in this very masculine style? Why is she dressing like a dude? Why is she wearing a Ramones t-shirt? The Ramones were an all-male band. I would think that you would at least put her in, I don't know, a Runaway shirt, since they were an all-female band, or L7, because since they were an all-female band, or the Donnas, something that would fit this all-girl, no boys allowed theme that I admit I personally dislike. But if that's the theme you are going to go with, at least do it right. It kind of reminds me how in Captain Marvel, right, she's wearing this Nine Inch Nails t-shirt underneath her jacket, and then Nick Fury quips about the grunge look looking good on her, and everybody's like, and myself included, is like, that's not grunge. That's not grunge in the least. Nine Inch Nails is not a grunge band. What are you talking about? I'm tired of seeing classic music being misused and misidentified and misappropriated in this way. So there's that. There's also the love affair, right? The trailer seems to imply that this, I'm guessing it's gonna be, the woman's name isn't given, but I'm guessing she's gonna be playing the role of Renee Montoya, who in the comics is Kate Kane's lover, right? And I believe Renee is part of the Gotham police force. I think she's a detective. I think she's also the Question, or she has been the Question. But I think in her like official civilian role, she's a cop. So the equivalent to Renee seems to be this, very pretty feminine black woman. And what I found interesting was just the visual contrast between Kate Kane, again played by Ruby Rose, and then this woman who seems to be playing Renee Montoya, right? First of all, it's interracial, right? So one is brown, one is white, then one has this very feminine appearance, one has this very androgynous, masculine leaning appearance, and it kind of reminded me of what Crimson Sin, the Crimson Sin channel was saying about one of the episodes of Netflix She-Ra. And there was one episode where it revealed one of the characters' two dads, like Bo's two fathers, and one dad's very masculine, one dad is much more feminine. And one of the criticisms that Crimson Sin made of that trope was just how tropey it is. It's just how stereotypical it is to have a gay couple and have one of them be very masculine and have one of them be very feminine. So seeing that pretty much repeated here, right, with very feminine Renee Montoya type character, and then again the very masculine Ruby Rose, it just reminded me of that, and how for people who are supposed to be against stereotypes and tropes and all that stuff, how much the progressive crowd loves to use them. See, it's fine if they do it. If they do it, no problem. Anyone else does it, then it's problematic, right? It's very hypocritical. Right, so there's that. There is also the fact that, at least to me, that the character of Kate Kane is allowed a love interest, because her sexuality did come up in the comics. That's true. And there is hinting at in the trailer that she used to be. The trailer seems to imply that Kate and Renee met in the military and had a secret affair that was discovered, and then they were both kicked out, or something to that effect. Now, there was a story about Kate's history and backstory in the comics several years ago that did deal with her time in the military, but if I remember correctly, it had nothing to do, at least at that part in the story, with a love interest. If I remember correctly, that story was a matter of honor. And basically, at least if I remember correctly, and Jim Turner or other people who may know the story better than me, please let me know and correct me. But if I remember correctly, what happened is that Kate becomes conflicted over the practice at the time of, don't ask, don't tell. Because of course the practice at the time was that if anybody was discovered to be not straight in the military, they would be kicked out. And so she begins to wonder if she's truly living up to the honor code at West Point that she has to swear to as a cadet. If she's truly living up to it by basically staying in the closet and not admitting to who she is, which is a lesbian, which is a gay woman. So she eventually decides that, she's going to be honest, that she's going to embody the honor code and be honest about her sexuality. And she tells some teacher or supervisor or whomever, some person in authority, that yes, she is indeed lesbian, and she's not going to hide it. She admits it, and she gets kicked out of the military, which is fine. I don't mind that as a storyline. I think it's interesting, but there was no love interest there. So to add a love interest to that story, or to at least seem to blend a love interest and borrow elements of that, military background story, seems interesting. Especially if you look at Captain Marvel, and you note that when Captain Marvel was out and was getting all this attention, one of the things that film was praised for was for Carol not having a male love interest as well, just not having one at all. Not just not having one as a motivation or as a element in her life, but just not having a man in her life at all in any sense of the term, unless he was either driving Miss Daisy, given Sam Jackson's role, or he was a bad guy, Jan Rog, and trying to oppress her. But I found that interesting. I found that very interesting, especially given that, again, Kate Kane is allowed to have a lover here, but Captain Marvel, who canonically in the comics has always been straight, even in the more recent comics, she has rekindled a romantic relationship with James Rhodes, with War Machine. So even in today's very progressive comics, they still maintain the fact that Carol Danvers is heterosexual. So a heterosexual woman gets her own, is the lead character in her own superhero film. She can't have even a male friend, let alone a male love interest. But this TV show, where the lead actress is not straight, and where the lead character, the lead role is not straight, she's allowed to have a love interest. And the story is very open about the fact that she indeed has a female love interest. They're not hiding it, they're not implying it, they're showing you. She indeed has a female love interest. So are you trying to be anti-heterosexual? Are you trying to shame straight people? Because that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like it's decidedly anti-heterosexual, right? We will not show a hetero relationship, even when there should be or there could be. But that's just me. So in my estimation, this trailer is anti-heterosexual, is anti-male, right? Every male is either a wimp, like Luke Fox, or they apparently, in this case of Bruce, has abandoned the city. The city he loves so much, he's abandoned it. I, as a woman, cannot abide by this type of media. I am not going to, I can't. This is anti-male. This is anti-straight. And as I've said before, you cannot be pro-woman and anti-male. Just as you can't be pro-male and be anti-female. You cannot be, at least in my estimation, you cannot be pro-LGBT but then be anti-straight. Same way you can't be pro-straight but then anti-LGBT. Right? Let people live. Let them be who they are. I thought we were supposed to be past the whole, shaming thing. That we're supposed to be embracing all types of people. But it seems like heteronormativity in media seems to be going the way of the dodo, which is not fair to a heteronormative person like myself, or to others, regardless of their sexuality, who don't want this type of regressive, progressive media. How does this help anybody? How does this help women? How does this help the LGBTQ community? How does, again, being disrespectful and hateful toward other groups, towards the heteronormative, how does that in any way help the non-heteronormative? I don't see how this is going to benefit anybody. And this is not a show I would ever watch. What I wish would happen, and what I remember from my childhood, is when men and women were working together. When we acknowledged that people were different and people were going to clash, but that people could come together for a singular goal. That's what I wish would come back to media. I'm reminded of China, Joni Laurer, the pro wrestler. I'm reminded of her theme song, right? the opening words of her theme song were, and this is her theme song once she got away from Triple H and once she got a DX and became her own character, her own wrestler. The words were, "Don't treat me like a woman, don't treat me like a man, don't treat me like you know me, treat me for just who I am." That's what I wish media would go back to. If you're going to put a woman in a masculine role, right, in a man's place, instead of saying that she's the female version of that man, just have her say, "No, I'm not the female version of him. I'm me. Treat me for who I am. Judge me on my own merits. Don't hold me up to his standard. I don't want to be in his shadow. I want to be me." That's it. The only decent thing about this trailer is actually the very end, when they show her in the Batwoman costume, and it's pretty faithful to the comics, right? It has the red bat symbol, it has the red hair. I can't remember off the top of my head if she has the lipstick on, but there's enough red. It stays fairly close to the comics, so I'll give it that. But that's one thing. So for the second time in a few days, I'm going to again banish something to the ninth circle of hell. This trailer, in my estimation, if I had to give it a rating, deserves the ninth circle of hell. Because, just like with Captain Marvel issue number 4, this trailer is a betrayal. It is a betrayal of everything good about comics, about female heroines, about DC, about the Bat family, even about Batwoman. Because she is an interesting character, if you allow her to be an interesting character on her own merits, in her own right. But this show is not going to do that. This show, in my estimation, was made because she happens to be a lesbian, and they wanted someone who isn't straight to play the role. This was chosen, in my estimation, because of progressive politics. And this is what happens when your reason for doing something, your foundation, is flawed. You get a character who is flawed. You get motivations that are flawed. You just get this insulting woke trash. And I personally cannot deal with it. So that's my opinion. That's gone way on too long. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time it is, be happy, healthy, and safe. See y'all around. Bye.